give myself 6 months to put the right people in place, to put the right systems and the right process in place, and to be able to fire myself from that business from an executive position.
Wow.
And move on to being in an advisory capacity. I have launched over 100 businesses and failed at many of those and succeeded at many of those. And I know that there is about 35 plus active businesses that I have been a part of from a 0 to 1 journey. But I also have a network of people who behave as mentors depending on the industry and the kind of challenges someone is facing. So my network comes in as a mentoring group to help those entrepreneurs. I started my career probably at the age of 12 with my family business.
Hello everyone, and I am super excited, thrilled, and very much looking forward to having our next conversation with a very special entrepreneur, Mr. Jigar. And this is his second appearance as a speaker at the Gladiator Summit. And it is my pleasure to be here with you, Jigar. Please tell us about yourself, your absolute wonderful line of companies, your journey, and how it all started.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you. I mean, what an amazing event. What a vibe, what energy. It feels so good to be associated to platforms such as the Gladiator Summit because I live and breathe entrepreneurship. My vision in life is to make entrepreneurship accessible.
Wow.
So I am a serial entrepreneur myself and a serial investor, but I enjoy the entrepreneurship journey more because I love the 0 to 1 journey.
Wow.
So I go away and look at problem statements that entrepreneurs are facing, and with changing times, these problem statements keep evolving, and I try to bring in solutions to these problem statements through new innovative business solutions.
Beautiful.
So be it recruitment, outsourcing, technology, simple marketing, accounting, legal services, you name it, and anything and everything that an entrepreneur requires from an ecosystem perspective, I have it in my portfolio.
Amazing. Which brings me to my next question. Can you enlighten us with your line of works, your businesses, and the group of different leaderships that you are executing as a CEO?
So I do not perform as a CEO. What I do is when I launch a business, I give myself an expiry date of 6 months. I give myself 6 months to put the right people in place, to put the right systems and the right process in place, and to be able to fire myself from that business from an executive position.
Wow.
And move on to being in an advisory capacity. So today I take part in many board meetings where I also advise the government when it comes to entrepreneurship. But I'm only able to do so much more. I have launched over 100 businesses and failed at many of those and succeeded at many of those.
I would like to repeat that, over 100 businesses. And you, looking at a very young age, having to explore, it sounds fantastic. Please carry on.
I mean, I think if you understand from an entrepreneur mindset, are you working in the business? Because you use the terminology CEO. In that case, I don't believe you're an entrepreneur. I think you just bought yourself a job.
Yes.
When you're an entrepreneur, you create a sustainable business that should function without you. Which means that in a business, if you are called upon it and you have to intervene and you have to contribute from an execution perspective,
Yes.
try replacing yourself with another talent, which is much more qualified than you to do that job.
This just reminds me of Richard Branson, which he said the same thing, that I don't believe in execution. I hire people who are better than me in that specific area. And you're right, but this is something very mature and very new to still many acting entrepreneurs, because they believe in doing everything themselves, or maybe they don't have the resources, or they feel emotionally connected and feel that everything's going to get crumbling down if they lose sight. Needs a lot of courage.
I think it's in the mindset. Like I said, if you truly understand what is your purpose.
Right.
So I know my purpose in life is to enable entrepreneurship. And in order to do so, it requires me to take a step away from execution. So even when we launch a business, I always tell this to people, don't start a business with the objective of making money. Start with an objective of solving a problem.
Yes.
So if you start a business with the objective of solving a problem or meeting a need and a desire for which people are willing to pay money, you will have money chasing you.
Beautiful.
Why do you need to go chase money? And in some shape or form, isn't that what the journey of entrepreneurship is supposed to be?
I think no one can have you better say and speak after having the experience, having the expertise, and all that knowledge that comes from learning. What is your biggest learning? Like Mr. Jigar, when he started out with his first company and now today, how do you find the difference in your mindset, your approach, your learning?
There are many lessons that I've learned along the way. I learn a lesson every day. I sit here with the mindset that I'm here to learn even from you when I talk to you, rather than just believing that I can only give knowledge. Yes, I'm here to share my knowledge, but I also like to learn. But there's one thing that stands out in the way I think is how much I value time more.
Wow.
If I were to go back to having $0 in my bank account, I would be okay with it.
Really?
I would be perfectly okay with it. So I'm willing to take such risks because I know that you can take away all the money from me, but you can't take away the knowledge I've gained
Yes.
and the experience I've gained.
Yes.
But what I would have lost in that process is the time. So I can't get that time back. So for me, I truly understand the meaning and the worthiness of the concept of time.
Yes.
So when you're running a business or doing a task, it is very important that you don't take time for granted. Take your decisions fast. It's
Take
not
your
about being
decisions.
rash. I'm not
Yes.
telling you to be rash. I'm not telling you to shoot from the hip. Think, but there is no point in overthinking.
I think that is what gets everyone so lost because of overtaking so much time. And also brings me to another interesting question is, if you have to go back in time with all your versatile range of works, what is it that you would have done differently?
I started my career probably at the age of 12 with my family business, but I also then started my professional career as an employee, and then waited for some years to amass wealth and gather enough investment to buy out that company and buy into that company as well. I think if I could do something different is I would have liked to have started faster and sooner.
Wow, really? I think because you have got such massive experience and you exactly know what is the next step. It must be like at the back of your hand now. Okay, one question. What do you look at? Like if you have to start a new business, or if anyone who is willing to do so and doesn't have the courage to pick up the pace, what guidelines or factors do they or should they look into? An advice from you.
So because I believe in saving time, I make it very simple for myself. Number one, whatever thought or idea you had,
Yes.
is it solving a problem? Yes, no. Is it meeting a need, desire, if not solving a problem? Yes, no. Are people willing to pay for it?
Yes.
Yes or no. Are you doing something different than everyone else? Yes, no. So are you going to be one more player in the red ocean, or are you going to go create a blue ocean?
Wow.
I'm not an Einstein. I'm not going to claim to be able to reinvent or invent the wheel, right? There's no point. That's not what I'm skilled to do. But what I'm skilled to do is to identify those niche requirements
Yes.
and those problems that each one of us faces, from the moment we wake up in the morning to the time we go back to the bed in the night, we face challenges in our life. Have you ever thought of noting down each and every challenge? So every time I want to come up with a new business idea, all I have to do is start tracking my challenges for those couple of days, and in 1 week, I'll have at least 100 business ideas to hash out from.
Wow. So, also, what is it that, what are the common mistakes that many people do? Like, the guidelines and
Right.
the checklist that you just mentioned, which is so nice. I think we're going to put those in captions. What is it? Where is the major mistake that people make?
They get emotionally attached to a business. I have heard people say that the people are my family. I've heard people say this is my baby, this business is my baby, and that's you creating an emotional attachment with that business.
Right.
The business is not your family. The people over there are, it's more like a sport. It's a team sport where everyone contributes,
Right.
and the player who's playing defense cannot necessarily play attack, but the attack cannot play defense. So you want to bring the best attack and the best defense into a team, right? The same way, if you are not the best attack or the defense, what are you doing over there? So when I look at a business, I see it as a team sport. The mistake that people are doing is getting emotionally attached. If they know that the business is failing,
Yeah.
they hold on to it.
Right.
It is important to learn from your failures more than it's important to learn from your successes. So for me, every time I have failed, and early on in my life, whenever I was about to fail, I was holding on to it a little bit, giving it more,
Right. Yes.
putting it a little bit more. And that's when I realized that putting in more is worse
Really?
than letting go. Because when I let go, I can restart with a fresh mindset.
Wow. So, Jigar, this is something beautiful that you have said, and this is not that I have heard from many, but you being an expert saying that one should not get too emotionally attached, where some people do the opposite. So, I mean, can you tell me more? Like,
See, if you have to understand that the longer you give, the harder it's going to become to let go. So that's why it's important. You don't have to necessarily stick to my timeline of 6 months,
right,
but keep it reasonable. If you know that at this point you start getting emotionally attached, make sure your deadline is before that.
right, right.
Because if you're trying to become a guru at your business,
Yes.
you failed. Because if that business was dependent on you being the guru, how
Right.
does it continue to exist when you're not there?
Wow. One more question. Like, if you start a business, and how many years should it give that it should at least break even? Like, I mean, I've heard so many companies that they even till 3-4 years, they're just breaking even. And that even they find that it's successful, because,
Right.
so how long should it take for you to get profits?
I think every business is different. Whether you're in the service industry or in the manufacturing industry, I think it will depend business to business, geography to geography, and you have certain industry standards that you can benchmark against to get a feel for what to expect.
Right.
But again, the problem is not about saying, okay, it will take 3 years for this business to break even, because now all you've done is given yourself an excuse to get stuck to it for 3 years.
Yes.
It is not about how long it takes for the business to break even, because that is not equivalent to how long you should be involved with the business.
Right.
Your involvement of the business into the business is not associated with the break even.
Makes sense. Yes.
Your involvement in the business should be limited to how long do you believe it will take for you to have it as a self-running machinery. Full stop.
Self-running machinery. Wow. So we're looking at the wrong parameters the whole time. This is a beautiful way to look at that. The moment when it's on autopilot is when you think you've done your job and you can step away
Correct.
and just oversee the business.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
if you could look at your own business from a helicopter view, you will be surprised how much more value you can add to it
Yes.
rather than by being in the business.
So I want to ask you more about yourself. How do you manage so many different portfolios?
So for most of my businesses that are already on autopilot, I would say I give each of them 15 to 30 minutes a month where I look at a dashboard, a simple dashboard that tells me all the information that I need to know and pick out if there are any pain points and I need to deep dive into something or not.
Right.
But apart from that, I honestly don't think micromanagement helps.
Right.
I think that if I've hired the people to run the business, either they perform or they don't perform. And if they're performing, what am I going to do by poking into it?
Why fix when it's not broken?
And a good way to do that is stop having an office in your own business. Take out your desk tomorrow. What you will realize is that you will stop unnecessarily having to poke for the sake of validating your existence into the business.
Beautiful. I want to ask you this other question that, for instance, can you first tell the audience about your line of works? What are your business portfolios? Because some of
Right.
them wouldn't be knowing, yeah.
So I am a serial entrepreneur, and basically I have multiple public-private partnerships with the government, whereby we are a free zone operators here in the UAE. I have a recruitment agency. I have a BPO, business process outsourcing unit. Again, it's a contact center / call center. Have tech companies. I have an economic zone management solution. I have a permit as a pass as a product. I have a software development agency, tax and accounting, legal services, and I know that there is about 35 plus active businesses that I have been a part of from a 0 to 1 journey. And then I have a lot of businesses which are just basically what we call a part of my investment portfolio.
So your investment is within the UAE, or does it also goes?
So I have my investments primarily in the UAE, but it's also in the broader MENA region, be it Saudi, Qatar. I have a few business investments in Jordan, in India, but I'm not limited by geography.
Right.
I also believe that when you're running a business in today's day and age, because you have a digital channel of delivering that business, you don't necessarily need to have a physical office to serve clients. So I have global clients, but not necessarily global offices.
Wow. You know, your whole dynamics that you have said, it's so inspiring. And I found out that you're also coming up with your book. And do you also give some kind of consulting, or like you said, it all revolves around facilitating entrepreneurs, right? And especially in the UAE, you are lost. People don't have the right mentors or guide framework. They have to sort out all by themselves, or they don't find the right. So is there somewhere you service them or you
Yes.
facilitate?
So I think, early on in my life, it was about making the money, right?
Right.
And then when you learn the lessons, you realize it's about chasing the opportunities and not about making the money.
Beautiful.
And once you have chased the opportunities and made the money, and then you wonder what next. And when I reached that stage in my life, I realized that my purpose in life was to enable entrepreneurship. That's what I want people to remember me by. And I don't want to create a legacy just for this generation or the next generation. I want to create a platform
Right.
for entrepreneurs for generations to come. And mentoring is a critical component of that platform.
So important.
So today, what I have achieved is I myself mentor many people, but I also have a network of people who behave as mentors depending on the industry and the kind of challenges someone is facing. So my network comes in as a mentoring group to help those entrepreneurs.
Wow. How can we find you? Like if people are willing to come into your services or find out more or to be a part of it, or to, do you have?
So you can find me on jigarsagar.com. You can look me up on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there because I'm here with a mission to serve.
Well, I absolutely had the wonderful most time listening to Jigar on stage, and it was so enlightening, and I could see how everyone is just coming afterwards to gain all those insights. And is there any last message for the audience, something, because I think you're doing something so noble, facilitating all these entrepreneurs. So please share something.
Right. So I think a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people want to launch their business, but they're afraid. And I question this to them. What are you afraid of? What is it that you don't know already? You know the answers to your questions better than anyone else. It is about you actually taking action. So take action, keep grinding, upskill yourself, make sure you have the right qualifications and knowledge, and keep gaining knowledge, and just be on the lookout for opportunities. From that perspective, have fun while you're doing it, and it will feel like a breeze.
Wow. I appreciate all these golden nuggets that you have shared with us today, Jigar. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to put this episode on live, and people will definitely be connecting to you. Once
you.
again, your Instagram social handle is?
Jigar Sagar.
Jigar Sagar. And thank you so much, everyone, and thank you again. I think all the important things that you have are so different and valuable because you have done this experience. Maybe someone who's double your age can have that portfolio that you have. I'm so proud of you at such a young age, and wishing you
Thank you.
all the best and seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. Thank you so much.